Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, it's Littlefinger. Hey, today I'm doing a full tank review on the T37. You can see it here in the garage. Sharp looking tank. It is an American Tier 6 light tank. As such, it has very little armor. It's got a nice, accurate gun on it, nice gun depression, and really gets around the battlefield really well. You need to be map aware to make the most out of this tank, and I'll show you that in some of the gameplay. But first, let's take a look at the tech tree. You have just come from the Chaffee to the T37. It's going to take you up to the M41 Bulldog and then to the T49, which is having a 152 millimeter gun on a little go-kart. You run around and try to shoot as many tanks in the butt as you can. It's a fun but difficult tank to play. And then the line converges there on the T57 heavy line. I am currently playing the T54 E1. You can see I've just unlocked the T57 Heavy. Haven't purchased it yet, but the 54 E1 is my favorite Tier 9 tank right now. You can play games in this that you just come away thinking, I did all right, and then you end up with 3,500 damage or something, and you just don't know how it comes up with that much damage. So it's been a fun tank for me, and I'm looking forward to the T57. Let's take a quick look at some of the characteristics here. One of the things to note, you start out with 57.8 degrees per second traverse speed, which is really good. And then once you get the upgraded tracks, you're up to 63 degrees per second, meaning you can turn 180 in 3 seconds. This tank is really maneuverable. You start out with the 75 millimeter gun, and you do have to grind up to the 76, upgrade the turret here, and then you've got two options for the top tier gun. I prefer the 76 millimeter T91, and in my opinion it's really not even close with the T102, which is an autoloader, 3 shells in the magazine, and we'll show you that here in a second. So I'm running the T91. And then if we just run through the consumables real quick, I'm running repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions, I'm running improved fuel, protective kit, and case of cola. Ammunition, I've got a lot of APCR on here, but you'll see in my gameplay I rarely ever need it. The pen between 150 and 207 is really good, and plus with this tank being so mobile, you can get some good perpendicular angles to help with the penetration there. So 27, 17, and 6, the HE roll there, penetration on the HE is very low, so don't really use that either on this tank. And again, make sure you're purchasing your premium ammo with credits there with that shell price button. Equipment, I am running improved vents. Again, this helps with just about everything. You can see here it adds a little bit to our traverse speed, both the tank and the turret. Slightly increases our rate of fire and improves our dispersion. One of the great things about vents is it makes everything just a little bit better. And with this tank already having fairly good penetration numbers, you see there 135 without. So that's why I'm running the vents. Vitality, I'm running improved modules. This is a light tank. I am very mobile in it and not so much worried about other people ramming me as me running into other people. So that's why I'm running the improved modules over the defense system. And then as a light tank, trying to get that view range up, you can see we're up to almost 292 meters. So make sure you're well aware of that when you're playing this game. Spotting is the key to doing well in this tank. As a Tier 6 tank that I don't recommend for tournament play, I would not recommend spending any spare parts on it. As such, I might look at using the supercharge, the improved assembly, and then the engine accelerator. kind of a toss-up here. You're going to be moving a lot, so probably the vertical stabilizer is going to be best. And then as far as the last four here, you know, I don't see much in the way of usefulness of these. Maybe someone can explain that to me one day, but as for right now, I'm staying away from those. Alright guys, here is blitzstars.com using their tank compare section. I've got the T37 pulled up on the left with the T91 gun, which is the one that I recommend. I've got next to it the T37 with the T102 gun. You can see here 10% drop in damage per minute, 11% drop in penetration. We've also got an increase aim time of 10%. So all of those factors together is why I don't recommend the T102. If you want to play a good autoloader, AMX 12T is a great spotting tank and comes with an autoloader with a little bit more pen there of 144. So I've also got the VK 2801, which is, in my opinion, probably the best light tank at tier 6, even though it has been nerfed a little bit here lately. It's still got some good armor and some good angles. You're going to get a lot of bounces that you won't get with the T37 on the VK. The T21, another American light tank, really good gun depression. And then the MT25, you know, leads the class here in damage per minute. But as you can see, for the T37 with the T91 gun, we're right in line, right in the middle with their damage per minute. So, and keep in mind, guys, that, you know, I say this all the time, damage per minute is not the greatest stat to look at when selecting a tank. You know, being able to get into locations and get your shots off, which is why I like the lights and mediums a little bit better, certainly helps with your damage per game. So anyway, we're doing 160 damage per shot. Our reload is just under 6 seconds. And our shell velocity is 975. So all some very good numbers here. A lot of red to the right, which means you know, our tank is exceeding those numbers there. So some good numbers all around. Weapon handling, again, really good. One of the things I do like is we've got -9 degrees of gun depression. That is extremely workable. And you can play this tank on hills, a little hull down as well. Moving on into movement and mobility here at 66 kilometers per hour. Outside of MT25, we are the fastest tank. And 550 horsepower and a nice 0.8 on the train resistance gives us an effective horsepower per ton of just under 30. This is really good. Helps with getting around. And then we look at the hull armor, and this is the downside. 25 millimeters on the hull, 32 on the turret. And when we look at all of the other light tanks, you look at the VK 2801 with 60 millimeters. You know, it's almost 3 times. So you got to be careful on this T37, and if you're a heavy tank or a TD and you're facing one of these, if you're not shooting HE, you're shooting the wrong ammo. But if we look here down at just the moving 90-day average, 53% on the win rate, average damage of 845, which I feel is a little bit low, and probably people rush because this tank is fast, gets you into trouble, and they're not doing as much damage. Average spots there at 1.59, so that's fairly high. Only a 33% survival rate. So if you're in this tank, guys, use that as a warning. Don't let the speed get you in trouble. And we'll jump into some gameplay and see how it plays on the battlefield. Alright guys, here we are, bottom tier, dead rail. As you can see, there's only one tier 7 on either team, so pretty much just a tier 6 match. And on dead rail, just about every time in a light tank, I've been going to this rock in the middle of the map. It allows me to spot the enemy team and figure out what their strategy is early on in the game. find out if their team is splitting up and half going up the hill and half going down low, or if they're all coming the same direction. So anyway, we've spotted up that KV2 quite early here, and obviously with us having no armor, the last thing I want to do is get hit with a KV2, and so that's why I'm playing this extremely cautiously. I have that rock in front of me for protection, and now that I see the KV2 is distracted, we can go ahead and get some shots into the side cheek there. And he's going to back down, and our nice gun depression will let us get over this hill, get a track shot, and he's finished. So now we've taken out a big gun here. KV-1S is obviously in trouble down there, and we've got a few more tanks down here, but feel the need to rush in on this T-150, so I'll drop my adrenaline, stay perpendicular to him, and set him on fire for the kill here. And next is going to be the Hellcat. Can't get out of the way, but as you can see, we quickly finish him off for kill number 2. Now it's time to be a little bit more cautious. It's a 4-on-3 game, and I've only seen 2 of them spotted, so I'm not sure where the third is. Again, using our nice little gun depression there. SP1C is obviously going after our KV2, who's fairly low on health, but I'm imagining both of them are having gun depression issues there, and so I'm just staying back here, pumping in shots onto the SP1C, trying to use cover as much as possible, peek out and back behind cover. The Type 58's now been taken out, and it's 3-on-2. And I'm just trying to keep our KV2 in the game here. Not worried about taking 1 or 2 shots. Not sure how he misses here, but we'll go ahead and finish him off with the ram. And so we finish up with 3 kills. 26-23 in damage. Good for a mastery badge here. You can see just over 1,000 experience. And part of that is because of the spotting that we did. So helped out there, got a little bit of extra damage with some spots. But the 3 kills and the damage really helped us get that mastery. Alright, here's another game on Middleburg as bottom tier, and if you look at the makeup of our teams here, I'm seeing that they have a medium and a light, which are the only 2 tanks that are going to be up here, so I'm going to be pretty aggressive and try to get some spots in early. And seeing as they are not over here, I'm assuming they've all dropped down the hill, so we can go ahead and get most of that team lit up and get a couple shots off before they even know what's happened to them. And as you can see, all we do is we pull back over the ridge after we shoot, and then we get lit up like that because we sat in a spot I didn't think I was still spotted. So that's shame on me, really, there. So now we're definitely going to relocate. And assume that there's one still in the corner over there, the one that was shooting me. There he is. And we'll spot him up. Unfortunately, we don't get any hit points there. But he is trying to make a run for it. And again, we track him, no damage. So it's still a clean, close fight here. And anytime you see an AT, it's always best to try to save them for last. I mean, they are a pain in the butt. But our MT-25 is doing a good job in getting him to turn. And so I'll just wait. And a lot of times you can go in through that front flywheel, drive wheel, whatever you want to call it. It's oftentimes a fairly weak spot, even on some of these heavy tanks. That is when you're obviously at an angle here. So you can see they're all focused on the lower health team. Tank, I should say. And this VK is coming at us hard. And we trade shots and just trying to stay alive and not get rammed here and manage to get around him without him turning his turret. One of the nice things about these fast tanks. And so in this game, I'm not going to go head on with that KV3 with 56 hit points left. So we're just going to flank around and wait till he's engaged with some other tanks before coming around the corner. And as you can see here, 60 plus kilometers per hour certainly gets us around fast enough that we have time to get a couple shots into him before he's finished off. So really straightforward game there, but what I wanted to point out was that aggressiveness and getting spots and how that can lead you to obviously getting in trouble if the team's not doing what you expect. So we got the scout medal there, 2,000 damage, good for level 1 mastery. Got 15 shots landed there. And you can see we spotted 5 tanks and got some good, nice damage there with those spots. Alright guys, so here we are, top tier on Canal, and gonna push left here to one of my favorite little hold down spots. Just get over this ridge and get yourself behind this hill right here, and just be a little bit patient and wait. And so you can see I'm looking at the mini map and I've got 2 guys beside me. Everyone else is still sitting in our spawn area, and as I push forward, obviously they they all show up too, so I guess we all got impatient at the same time. And thankfully there I was able to get a few bounces. Yeah, don't sit on hills like that, guys. See how I'm kind of hold down. I'm only giving them a little bit of a tank to aim at, kind of like the Sentinel is here, but he's giving me too much and he's not looking at me, so I'm getting the side there. And love that Leo got tracked as he was on his way for me. And so what I'm going to do here is I know he's coming at me. I was hoping to get a track shot in him, but as he drives at me, I drive away from him, and that way he's going to miss a few shots because he can't get that turret turned in time. And I see our guys are still kind of sitting close to spawn area, so just trying to buy a little bit of time, make sure I drop off the radar here. And go back, get spotted again. And really no point me being on the front tip there of the attack because I've got no one behind me. So if I do get pushed, I am in trouble. So what I'm going to do is just use my speed and relocate, which is one of the great things that you can do with this tank. And you can see these guys just sitting back here. 64 kilometers per hour, and we are relocating more towards the middle of the map. See if we can't get some different angles, get some spots on these guys that have also been a very patient team as well. So we're coming through on the bridge here, and of course we have light tank camo, so stationary or moving, our camo values are the same. And we do get spotted there. Waiting for KV to come up over the hill. Just being patient, keeping these pipes beside me here. Get our shot and back up. He's looking at me, so I'm going to wait, and the T-34-85 there finishes him off. 2 guys left, and I'm not sure if they've been even spotted yet. So I'm assuming that they are either AFK or close to their spawn. We get pretty aggressive here and get a little lucky as they come around this corner here. Oh, TD in my way. He gets a shot. 257 leaves me with 14 hit points. And you know, this turning radius there really helped out. We can track him and get behind him and then get 3 shots in before he can get turned around. So being patient here, waiting for the VK to look away. He's looking at me, better pull down, but take my shot anyway. And so we end up with 3 kills and do 2284 on damage. We got a steel wall scout out of that and a mastery badge. Right at 1,000 experience. So the bar is pretty low in my opinion as far as getting mastery on this tank. But you can see we were pretty much involved in every tank in the game there. Alright guys, top tier mines. We know the drill. Take the hill. So I've been really hesitant to going up all the way up the hill. Everyone pays attention to the hill, so I prefer to stay down near these rocks over here, use them as cover in case any heavies or whatnot come over the hill there. And then as you can see here, like this sentinel, he's going to be looking at our guy on the hill. So we just take our shot and back up and take a 1 shot there from somebody. There's a 2nd shot. So got to keep cognizant of that as far as cresting the hill too far. Works a little bit better from the other side, and we're a little bit fortunate there to get a bounce, but we hit the rock instead of the VK on our shot back. So now we're just going to be a little bit patient here and hope this VK makes a mistake. They've got a tank in their spawn, and then I realize that they've got a tank coming up behind me, and it's a KV2. So glad I spotted that when I did by looking at the mini-map. So don't want to wait around and try to brawl with him. We'll see what we can do from the other side here. And PZ4 is hidden behind those rocks there. And I know this T37's AFK, but we're just going to make sure we get his gun out of the game before he wakes up. So we get our first kill there. And the KV2 has engaged around the corner with our KV2. So I want to go lend some help. I would have thought that our TD could have helped out there sitting on the hill, but we do go ahead and finish him off. Up a tank here at this point in time. And so this is one of those spots where if you're not careful, you can very easily get yourself into trouble. They have 3 tanks left. 2 of them are obviously sitting in the back there. And had I gone around, you know, looking for the kill shot or whatever, the M4 there, then I could have wound up dead in basically 1 round of shots from everybody. So as it is now, we get the kill shot. We're able to back out, just taking the 1 shot from the Wolverine there. But we return the fire while he's on the reload. And again, I'm going to play it cautiously. He's gone behind the rock. PZ4's down there. And I'm going to go in for my move here on Wolverine. T21 is out. So back to 3-on-2. I get spotted as I'm coming around here, so he knows I'm looking. So stop and back up, and he's going to shoot into the dirt there. We should have a shorter reload, so we'll get our second shot in. And he's probably a little bit frustrated at this point in time, so he's going to rush around the corner, and we can get our third shot in. So I know that PZ4 is over here. He's going to be looking at me. I'm checking to see where my help is. They're both on the hill, so I'm hoping I can draw him out a little bit. We trade shots. And as I'm pulling forward to get my next shot in, I do get the help I was looking for from the hill there. So we end up with 4 kills. Again, 2243 in damage, another mastery badge, just over 1,000 experience. So again, bar's a little bit low, I think, on this tank for getting masteries, but we did get 16 shots in. And we did do damage to all 7 of their tanks. Alright, here we are again back on mines, and I debated putting this game in just because I know it's a little bit boring seeing the same map twice, but I felt like this was a good representation of the accuracy on this gun. And then I could also show you my other spot that I really like to pull up to is on this side, but seeing that they had only 1 medium and the rest heavies and TDs, I didn't think that they'd be pulling up the hill very fast, which you can see here. They're basically all camped around their spawn area. So this side of the map didn't work great in terms of people trying to push the hill opening, but you can see that it's very nice with having just enough terrain that we can use our gun depression here. And unless those people really get wide at the TD spot, they're not going to have good shots on you from this side. So we've gotten a couple nice shots in on the ARL and KV down there. And here comes the ARL. Obviously a tank with some good armor. So I'm aiming for that hatch right there on the top. And I see that he's turned sideways, so that gives me a good opportunity to get a shot into the side. So I'm going to drop adrenaline, get that second shot in, and then I'm back down the hill. Now I'm just going to weave back and forth here, and even doing so I'm able to put shots into the hatch fairly consistently. You can see there's 2 in a row, and I was hoping to get the kill shot here, and it bounced. Just missed that one, but finished him off. So 3 out of 4 shots hit that teeny tiny hatch area, and I get tracked up on the hill. And so they've worked their way all the way to the side of the hill. Had I had guys pushing on that side, they would have been spotted. They wouldn't have been able to do that. So now I'm a 1-shot, and I'm looking around, and our TD is still in the spawn area. I mean, nobody's come over this hill. What's this guy doing? He is certainly not helping our team. But anyway, I can't really crest over the hill anymore. So one of the great things about this tank is using its speed to relocate. And you can see it's still a tight game. It's 2-on-2. We've each lost 2 tanks. And as I'm pulling over this hill, it's kind of curious. I find the Kuro here facing backwards and looking down their spawn area. And here's another nice shot into the hatch. And as I was doing that, a couple of their TDs got taken out. So 5-on-3 advantage now. And I know that Kuro's down here. So just hugging this side of the map. And figure I'll get a nice warning when he spots up. The SU's making a run for cover here. Missed the first shot, but get a nice little ammo rack there. 233 in damage. So again, this tank could get me into trouble if I pushed really hard and went into that Kuro. I'm always very cautious, and you can see I wait till he gets shot and figure he's going to start turning away, and that allows me to pull forward and get my shot in. And he's aiming at me, so I'm going to pull back, quickly pull forward and get that shot. A little bit of a low roll there at 138. Missed out on another kill. But again, we did a little bit of spotting. We used our mobility. We did 2,000 damage, level 2 mastery here. Top of the team in damage once again. And just this mobility on this tank, I really like it. Penetration, as you can see, I don't know if I rarely ever, if at all, in any of these games switched over to APCR. So that's nice. It's a little bit cheaper that way. And, you know, with the mobility, it does give you the opportunity to get into positions where you do get shots into the weaker side of the armor. But again, it does require you being very map aware and what's going around you at all times, understanding where their tanks are and aren't, even the ones that haven't been spotted, and keeping track of that throughout the entire game so you don't get a surprise and get yourself into trouble. So as always, guys, hope you learned a few tips and tricks on this tank, become better players. As always, stay safe out there. Remember, this is just a game, and get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.